Hey guys, my name is Alex, and this is the 16th installment in my video project series thing, Kingly Endeavors, in which I intend to read all of Stephen King's novels in chronological order, and hopefully post a video a week about them. This week, I read The Drawing of the Three, and it is pretty good. The sequel to The Gunslinger, which was the first volume of the Dark Tower series. At the time that I reviewed The Gunslinger, I was kind of pulling punches and saying like, meh, I wasn't that into it, but like I was reluctant to say that I just flat out didn't like it. Now, in retrospect, I feel more comfortable saying that I just flat out didn't like The Gunslinger. Not only is this way better than The Gunslinger, like 10 times better than The Gunslinger, I think it might actually be my favorite of Stephen King's books so far. Although it is like a self-contained novel with a self-contained story, it is also very clearly just a piece of a larger puzzle. And while I can't say for sure what exactly King is trying to accomplish here, since I'm only 2 volumes in, it's remarkable how, with both The Gunslinger and The Drawing of the Three, he sort of rises above his annoying little tendencies from the other books. It seems like he knew, probably from the outset of the series, that this was going to be his opus. There's some great experimentation with prose here. I'm going to say that it's his first effort with stream of consciousness, and I know other people will chime in and say, no, there was this section in It where he employed stream of consciousness, or this section in another book where he employs it. And yes, he's dabbled here and there with having like really run-on sentences with no punctuation that kind of bleed between consciousnesses of like the narrator and the character. Here in The Drawing of the Three, when he's chronicling the actions of a schizophrenic character, he goes into like a Kerouac 3-page sentence, unpunctuated stream of consciousness, which he pulls off remarkably well, and I was kind of sad to see him only attempt it once in the book. Hopefully it comes up again and again over the course of the series. In this volume, the gunslinger is walking down some beach. It's like a desert landscape, or I was kind of foggy as to what exactly this area was. But he encounters 3 doors at long distances from one another along the shore of what appears to be a beach. When he walks through this door, he steps into the consciousness of another person. These are all people, presumably, into whose consciousness he needs to step, see what they see, and then he's supposed to bring them out of our contemporary American life into his other world so that they can accompany him on his quest to the Dark Tower. I'm so not accustomed to fantasy, and I kind of cringe at giving those kinds of synopses. I don't know why. Anyways, the novel does not read as like the kind of grandiose epic quest thing that it sounds like when you're summarizing it. As we've been seeing in other books up to this point in his career, we're getting these themes of duality. You have a schizophrenic character with a split personality, and neither of those personalities know of the other one. One of those personalities is like consummate goodness, and the other one is just raw malice. You can sort of project that onto all these addiction themes that he's been exploring in his career at this point. And then there's another subplot with a drug addict, a heroin addict, who's trying to overcome his addiction. He's trying to go cool turkey as opposed to cold turkey. Then there's a page, right before the novel begins, there's a page on which there is only one word, and that word is a renewal. So I guess that's supposed to suggest that this is the theme of the entire novel, is like being broken down, being trod upon, and confronting your own weaknesses, and then renewing yourself, which, at this point in his career, as we know, Stephen King was confronting his addiction and beginning to overcome it. I have a feeling that talking about these volumes of the Dark Tower series will prove to be something of an obstacle in the course of this project, because it's really hard for me to like see where it's going or see what he's trying to accomplish. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's my review of The Drawing of the Three, just to say that I really, really liked it. I really, really encourage people to get to it, and if you insist on starting with The Gunslinger, go ahead and persevere if you're not enjoying The Gunslinger, because I promise it'll pay off. But I do kind of want to belabor the point that I loved this book. And if you haven't read The Gunslinger, I would kind of be interested to hear your thoughts if you've read this as like a standalone novel, and if you kind of felt like you were missing something because you hadn't read The Gunslinger. I think that's about it, but because there's like so little to say, I was thinking that like, because there's like this desert, beach, sandy environment in which the novel takes place, I'm thinking about the Cinnamon Challenge, which I never did on YouTube, and it's like nobody does it anymore, but like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, it was like the shit and a half, and everybody was doing it. But now, you know, I have a YouTube channel, and this review was kind of lackluster and brief. I think it's just that you need a tablespoon. Whoa! Fuck. I was at a bar once where there was this competition, and they were getting a bunch of strangers to do the Cinnamon Challenge in exchange for like free drinks and t-shirts. Like 11 people did it, and the only one person like finished it, but nobody had a really dramatic reaction. I guess ideally it's something you do when you're really drunk. So yeah, constant reader, thanks for watching.